The creative was written by Bruce Nesmith. You can look at the cover art, and the one thing I had a problem with was it was next to impossible to surprise my players with a cover like this. They automatically knew that there was going to be something up with the doll, and yeah, really tough to surprise them. But let's see, we're gonna go down here to created, TSR library, Lake Geneva. Oh, that's just the digital. Actually, I have my physical copy. Physical copy is right here. It's beaten up. Oops. Sorry. My digital copy is the one that's readable. This one is all busted up and notes all written in it, so I'm not even going to try to read from this one. But yeah, I love this one, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. So, let's see. Designer Bruce Nesmith, editor Dory Jean Waltree, cover artist Brom, interior artist Dave Simmons, and typesetting Angela Lukatz. Table of contents: setting the stage, opening act, enter the villain, interlude, dim the lights, curtain call, Malignio, player's map of Odier, excerpts from Giuseppe's notes, and MC entry, the Carrionet. MC stands for Monstrous Compendium. Alright. This is a short one, only 31 pages. But there's so much room for the DM to play around in this one that it feels like a bigger module. Felipe says, because of stories like that, I avoid dolls until now. Oh, Felipe, congratulations, by the way. I hope you accept my offer of being a moderator. You are my first South American mod, sir. And that's a thank you to you for being around for quite some time now. Going back to before I took my almost year break. All right. So let's see. So, and remember, a lot of this stuff is going to get cut out when I go to release the thank you. It is an honor. So I'm honored to have you here. Thank you. A lot of this rambling is all going to get cut out. So you guys who are here watching it live, guys and gals, watching it live, you're going to be the only ones to see this, because this video in its form here will not stay up on the channel. The only time you'll get to see me ramble is if you're here live. So we're gonna, without further ado, we're gonna get on to the first section, which is called setting the stage. So, setting the stage. The Dungeon Master should be certain to read this entire adventure before play. This module is suitable for player characters of levels 2 through 4. Many of the monsters in this adventure are from the Ravenloft campaign appendix of the Monstrous Compendium. If the DM doesn't own this product, he or she can substitute the creatures shown in parentheses. In many places, there are pronunciation guides for words. These syllables are separated by hyphens, and the syllable that receives the emphasis appears in capital letters. When pronouncing the names and pretending to talk like the non-player characters, the DM should adopt an Italian accent to enliven the role-playing. Don't worry about accuracy. Go ahead and ham it up. Fear and horror checks. Fear and horror checks are always optional. If one is called for, it is recommended that the DM allow the players a few moments to decide upon a reaction. If a PC's reaction shows good role-playing of fear and or horror, then the DM can let that PC skip a check. If a character acts nonchalant or cavalier in the face of absolute horror, however, then you should apply the check. Any player who does a good job of role-playing may be able to play the entire adventure without making any checks. The player will remain in control of his or her character as long as the player acts appropriately. If the player doesn't do a good job of role-playing, then the dice will make the decisions for him or her. The PCs must make fear and horror checks and suffer the consequences. It is possible that the player will lose control of his or her character via a failed horror check for short periods of time. Adventure background. Giuseppe is a puppeteer and a doll maker. He is an elderly man who lives alone and has no friends. Over the years, he became obsessed with the idea of creating the perfect puppet, for it would be the child that he never had. Giuseppe dreamed of the puppet a long time before he began the actual work. He knew exactly which wood he would use, what colors he would paint, and let me try that again. He knew exactly which wood he would use, what colors of paint he would select, and so forth. In his loneliness, he poured so much of himself into that doll. When it was finally finished, it became animated with a life of its own. Delighted with his work, Giuseppe named the puppet... Delighted with his work, Giuseppe named the puppet Figlio and presented him to the town. While the doll maker adored his creation, most of the townsfolk did not. The adults of Odiere didn't believe in Figlio, and the puppet grew to hate them even more than he hated not being real. Even Giuseppe believed Figlio was a little more than a puppet, and Figlio's heart filled with hatred for his maker. The children of Odiere were a different matter, however, for they believed in Figlio. Let me try that. Let me do that again. Even Giuseppe believed Figlio was little more than a puppet, and Figlio's heart filled with hatred for his maker. The children of Odiere were a different matter, however, for they believed in Figlio. The puppet hatched a plot. He would kill all the adults of Odiere. With only the children left, Figlio could play all day and be given the adoration he deserved. The angry puppet coerced Giuseppe into making more puppets. Each was a living doll, but cold and inhuman, not like Figlio. To Giuseppe's horror, they obeyed Figlio and ignored their true creator. Let's see. Figlio. I keep saying Figlio. Figlio. You get in these habits when you're a kid and when you're younger, and you say these things ad hoc, and it just sticks with you up until the time you're an adult, and then it's tough to go back on old habits. All right. Let me get back in. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, my phone keeps going off there. Let me silence this. Alright. There we go. Give me 1 second, guys. I just have to check. Let's see. Just have to check the location of my daughter. She's walking home from school, so I got the GPS tracker. So I'm just checking to make sure she's still on the way home. All right. Yeah, delayed. Where was I? Here we go. We're gonna start over from puppet hatching a plot. All right. The puppet hatched. Too fast. The puppet hatched a plot. He would kill all the adults of Odiere. With only the children left, Figlio could play all day and be given the adoration he deserved. The angry puppet coerced Giuseppe into making more puppets. Each was a living doll, but cold and inhuman, not like Figlio. To Giuseppe's horror, they obeyed Figlio and ignored their true creator. During a theater show, Figlio's carionettes, as he called the puppets, slew all the adults present but spared the children. This heinous act carved out a small domain in Ravenloft just for Figlio, and the entire town was transported to the demiplane of dread. That night, Figlio renamed himself Maligno. He sent his carionettes into the streets to look for other adults so that the puppets could take over those bodies. They would become the new adults of Odiere, all loyal to Maligno. Maligno, in turn, tried to take over the body of Giuseppe. He discovered that the demiplane of Ravenloft confers a curse upon all its lords. He alone, of all the carionettes, is unable to inhabit a human body. To this day, Maligno burns with rage and frustration. He keeps Giuseppe prisoner, forcing him to make more carionettes as the puppet needs them. Next part. The characters start this adventure in a small town in their normal campaign world, before the town becomes part of the Ravenloft demiplane. In this product, the town is named Odier, but you are welcome to rename it to suit your own campaign. You will need to either place a town of this name somewhere in your campaign, or change the name of the town to match one of yours. As the adventure opens, there is a festival in the town celebrating Bambideen. Bambideen? No. Bambeen. Yeah, Bambeen. I knew that. I said it right the first time. As the adventure opens, there is a festival in town celebrating Bambeen. Bambeen is a spring holiday honoring life, growth, and the children in particular. The following text should be read to the players. Guys ever get so frustrated when your phone doesn't do what it wants to do? I apologize to beeping. I'm going to get rid of this now. I'm just going to turn this off altogether. My apologies. There we go. All right. The sun is shining brightly over the sleepy town of Odier. The buildings are decorated with ribbons and splashed with flowers. Everyone is in the streets, gaily bustling along. Children holding dolls and other toys dash underfoot. Peddlers hawk holiday wares from hastily assembled stalls. Toys and brightly colored scarves predominate the market. Even the adults are buying the goods. Choose a player in your group most likely to respond to the following situation. A pretty maiden or a handsome young man, Sophia or Antonio, as appropriate, approaches the player. She coyly offers a doll, a marionette, to this player character, saying, "Are you going to the puppet show tonight?" Alright, I'm Italian and that was terrible. Alright. "Are you going to the puppet show tonight?" A marionette is a gift to the character in the spirit of Bambeen. If the character refuses the toy, he or she looks hurt and moves away, dangling the toy. As you will see later, this puppet is actually a carionette. If the character accepts, Sophia or Antonio arranges to meet the character outside the Selco Theater at sunset. Shortly after this event, a passerby drapes a scarf over a different character's shoulder and then skips away, laughing merrily. After that, an old woman gently offers a flower to one of the characters. Neither of these events is significant, but both helps to establish the festival atmosphere. DM notes. This will get cut out. This is a good chance to really set the atmosphere, have the players wander around the town for a bit, visit different stalls, throw a whole bunch of different stuff at them, let them really spend a lot of time at the festival, because it really does help immerse them in the world. If you jump right in, they're at the festival, and then the bit happens with the doll, and then they go right to the next part, it kind of undercuts a little bit of the story. So give this part of the story, if you're going to run it, time to breathe. The town of Odier. The streets are 15 feet wide, and the alleys are about 5 feet wide. They are all paved with cobblestones. Most of the buildings in this sleepy little town are 2 stories tall. Most have a basement of some sort. The buildings tend to be made of wood and plaster with wooden shingles. Glass windows are common. Unless otherwise specified, all the doors to the businesses are unlocked, and doors to the residences are locked. Most buildings have a trade or business on the first floor, and the second floor is living quarters for the shopkeeper and his or her family. Most buildings have a trade or business on the first floor, and the second floor is living quarters for the shopkeeper and his or her family. A few of the wealthier business people have separate homes. When Maligno commits his vile crime in the theater and the domain of Odier forms, an eternal night falls over the town and the vacant streets become hazy with a light fog. The town map. Before the incident at the theater, see page B10, the town of Odier is like any other town. The map shown on the gatefold cover is just the center of town. At this point, ignore the boundaries and the wraparound street rules. On the following pages, you will find a list of businesses in the town and descriptions of important places. As soon as Maligno does away with the adults in the theater, Odier becomes a domain in Ravenloft. The town is then restricted to the small square shown on the map. Each of the roads exiting the map connects to a road on the other side, which leads right back in. A PC fleeing west or any other direction will eventually end up right back where he started. Along the domain boundaries at the roof level is the infamous misty border of Ravenloft. In the unlikely event that a PC climbs across the roofs of the buildings or flies out of the town without using the streets, find a logical place to have him or her re-enter via the opposite side. So, side note, I actually had when we ran this on a Halloween stream, one of my players decided they were an owl kind, and they actually tried flying up. And eventually he would fly up, hit the mist, and then appear in a basement somewhere and smack the ceiling in the basement of some unknown building. He really got on my nerves. I don't like flying characters in D&D. It just bothers me. All right, so we're going to run real quickly through the... I'm not going to list the businesses. I'm just going to give the descriptions, because it'd be like doing double work. Okay. 1. Alchemist. Aragon is a fraud. Most of his mixtures don't do anything. 7. Apothecary. Hazel can make you a variety of potions, including Potion of Delusion, Elixir of Health, Potion of Heroism, Oil of Acid Resistance, and Poison. She is one of the Carionet's first victims. After the encounter at the Selko Theater, she is possessed by one. 9. Flophouse. For 1 silver piece, a character gets a small bed and a rough blanket in a common room. 14. Silversmith. A careful search of the silversmith's shop will turn up a small case of 36 silver needles. The PCs will discover that, if they have doll bodies, they can use these needles exactly the same way the Carionets can. See page 31. 15. Toymaker. This is Giuseppe's shop and home. A complete map and description of it can be found later on in this adventure. Pages 18 through 22. 21. Selko Theater. See pages 8 to 10 for a complete description and map. 29. Boarding House. These are homes that rent out rooms. Usually the room must be rented for a week at a time. It costs 3 gold pieces to rent a room for 2 people. An evening meal is included for that price. 35. Constabulary. This is where Aldo works and lives. It is a jail and a courthouse all in one. Talk about convenient. 36. Inn. It costs a gold piece a night to stay here. Each room can hold 2 people comfortably and can sleep up to 6 packed in like sardines. Each extra pallet costs a silver piece a night. Food is extra, usually a silver piece for a meal. 41. Temple. The temple serves many roles for the townsfolk. It is a source of magical healing and other cures. Weddings and burials are handled by the temple, although the body is actually prepared in the Undertaker's building next door. 42. Undertaker. Owned by the temple and operated by the priests and clerics, it is effectively a part of the temple, although it is a separate building with its own special purposes. 43. Town Square. This open area is filled with people and vendors' carts before the domain is created. In the center of the square is a statue about 10 feet tall of a smiling young woman holding a laughing child. After the domain has been formed, there is a single abandoned cart with 2 large wooden wheels in the square. The statue is changed subtly. The woman's posture and shape are the same, but the face is now an expression of sorrow. The child is now a marionette with an evil expression. Neither of these changes is apparent unless someone looks directly at the statue or has cause to examine it. There he is. There's Maligno. Look at that guy. Never show your players the artwork. Opening act. Get a sip of water here. How's everybody doing out there? Huh? Hey, Nick. you should hear my Eastern European accent for the rest of the Barovians. It's not good, but I'm sure it's done with gusto. Hey, if you're gonna do it, just go for it. It doesn't matter how it sounds. Just go for it. Paul, what's up, buddy? With you 100% brother on that one. I assume you mean the things that stick with me as a child and that will stick with you as a child. Oh, if you guys could do me a favor, if anybody is in here, I hate asking this, like algorithm and stuff like that. If you could like this stream and like share it, I don't know, to do the YouTube-y stuff. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you can do that too. I guess this break would be a good time to retell you about some fun things that are coming up. I have a special surprise at 500 subscribers. Something that I've been building for a while is going to open up for the masses, and some of you may already know what that is, some of you may not, but that's going to completely open up. And also, I just finished my portion of a 50th anniversary to D&D video, and that's going off to the person who's been releasing it. There's going to be it's going to be pretty wild. There's 50 creators involved, and it's going to be a very long video. I can't wait for you guys to see that. And also, I'm back onto the Loop Guru video. So, Gangrel, this is for you. The Loop Guru video is finally coming out. So, and then towards the end of this stream, I want to run something past you guys, something that is going to be a project after the Loop Guru video. So stick around. But for now, we're gonna get back to the reading. Oh, sorry. Let me check this here. Let me just check on my daughter real quick. How's everybody doing this Sunday? Everybody doing good? Everybody wrapped up in this Diddy nonsense? I mean, as a complete non sequitur, like nobody even asked you about Diddy, Jason. I am way in deep on this whole Diddy nonsense. All right, she's still good. Okay, all right. Opening act. First blood. Let the players wander the streets for a while and enjoy the party. Storm clouds are building on the horizon. In a few hours, the clouds will be overhead. The characters don't know it, but the sleepy little town of Odier is just about to enter the... Sorry, Nick. That was distracting. Diddy kills. Yeah, Diddy diddled the kitties. That's a whole bunch of nonsense. And I'm way in deep on this. Way in deep. Too deep. I'm like watching all kinds of stuff on it, man. Well, I love the fall of celebrities. That's just me personally. Anyway. Sorry. The characters don't know it yet, but the sleepy little town of Odier is about to enter the demiplane of dread. In a while, just the clouds obscure the sun. In a while, just as the clouds obscure the sun. I don't like that either. In a while, just as the clouds obscure the sun, the bright light of the sun goes dim. The storm clouds that have been edging nearer to Odier are now upon the town. Rain threatens to fall. The vendors are hurriedly putting up tarps over their stalls, but the darkening skies have no effect on the gaiety of the townsfolk. Suddenly, you hear a shriek from above. Looking up, you see a woman leaning out of a second-story window. Her face is stricken with terror. "Help!" she cries. "Murderer! There's a murderer loose!" Her cries continue, growing less coherent by the moment. The crowd below her window quiets in shock for a moment, and then the people's voices swell in dismay. Laughter and joy have been replaced with whispers of horror. The PCs are in an ideal position to be the first people on the scene of the crime. The front door is right above them and is unlocked. They can barge right in and begin the investigation. The constable, Aldo, will arrive in a few rounds and offer to deputize them on the spot. If the PCs wait too long, several rounds, Aldo will arrive. He offers to deputize the characters instantly. If they accept, he orders them to shoo the bystanders away and then vanishes into the dark doorway. If they don't follow him of their own accord, he calls the PCs after them If they don't follow him of their own accord, he calls for them after a few rounds. What the PCs don't know is that Odier has begun its transition into the demiplane of dread. The sun will never again shine on this town. The rest of the day is overcast with storm clouds. When the night falls, it will never lift. Sortino Home. This is the home of Franco and Maria Sortino and their daughter, Gisela. It is a simple structure, roughly 20 feet square and 2 stories tall. It is marked on the domain map. The first floor is a single room that serves as a kitchen, dining room, and living room. It is full of the normal clutter of a home. Clothes lay stacked on a table, tools hang on the wall, toys lay discarded on the floor, etc. This is not a wealthy home. The woman on the balcony is Maria Sortino, and she races to the PCs. She is almost incoherent, but she manages to babble something about, "He's dead! He's dead! Upstairs! He's dead! The second floor has 2 small bedrooms. Hanging curtains divide them from the stairs. Either bedroom can be entered without disturbing the other. The bedroom on the right belongs to the parents. One on the left is for their child Giselle, and it doubles as a storeroom. As the characters reach the top of the steps, they can hear a child's voice crooning out a lullaby from the room on the left. In the parents' bedroom, the coarse sheets and furs of the bed are twisted and stretched between the frame and body of a man. The coarse sheets and furs of the bed are twisted and stretched between the frame and the body of a man. He lies tangled amid the bedclothes. Sightless eyes are staring at some imagined horror. His throat has been slit. The side of his mouth are cut open, making it look like a clown's oversized smile. Rosy circles have been painted onto his cheeks, and it appears to be done in blood. In the child's bedroom, a little girl, maybe 7 years old, sits on a small bed, hugging a wooden painted puppet and singing softly to herself. Her attention is totally focused on the doll. She doesn't even acknowledge your existence. The room is clean, but the floor is strewn with toys and dolls. Investigating the murder. Viewing the slain body of Franco Sortino is a cause for a mild horror check, +2 bonus. Alder the constable is of little help. He bustles about, looking busy and asking useless questions. If this mystery is going to be solved, the PCs are going to have to do it. If Giselle's room is searched, a small, bloody knife is found. It is poorly concealed under her bedsheets. The blade is no more than 4 inches long. Giselle is in a state of shock. She will not respond to many questions. She will talk about her doll named Knuckles, but she won't let go of it voluntarily. Giselle will state proudly, He can dance and sing, you know." That sounds too much like Meepo. "He can dance and sing, you know." She hugs it close to herself at all times. If asked about the bloody knife, she says, He made me hide it for him." She refuses to identify this person further, saying, He said he'd hurt me if I say his name." Although the characters don't know it yet, Knuckles is a carrionet. With the innocence that only a child possesses, Giselle accepts the fact that he can walk and talk. Knuckles is her bestest friend, and she will do anything to protect him. Under no circumstances will the carrionet harm Giselle or any other child. Franco saw Knuckles moving of his own accord and talking to Giselle. The puppet killed Franco to prevent him from spreading the word about the carrionets. Franco would have ruined Maligno's plan. Take 3. Franco would have ruined Maligno's plan to massacre the grown-ups at the theater tonight. Through a combination of threats and promises, Knuckles coerced Giselle to hide the knife. Giselle refuses to acknowledge that her doll did anything wrong. She will also deny that her father is dead, saying instead that he is away and will return in a few days. Deep inside, she knows the truth, but refuses to admit it. There is precious little more the PCs can discover here. Nobody on the street saw anyone enter or leave the home. The alley behind the house is devoid of clues. When the PCs leave the Sortino home, Maria has quieted enough to care and comfort her little daughter. Next part. Entering the villain. Once the PCs have done as much as possible at the Sortino home, excuse me for a second. Enter the villain. Once the PCs have done as much as possible at the Sortino home, they are likely to attend the play at the Selco Theater. See the theater's map on the following page. The theater is actually 2 buildings. One fronts the street, while the other is accessible only from the alley. Both buildings rise 2 stories high, although the theater property merely has a ceiling where the other actually has 2 floors. If the characters ever return to this building after the encounter with Maligno, they see a ghostly theater program. The spirits of all the dead adults can be seen sitting in the seats, watching the empty stage. Nothing happens on the stage the entire time, though. The ghosts comfort and pick up unseen children. Seeing this audience is a cause for a mild horror check with a +2 bonus. For those of you watching now, I'm gonna show you guys a map of the theater. Oh, I got it ripped out of my book, so I'm gonna scroll down on the book. So, oh, here it is. So you can see the theater right here. There's the you'll hear it. There's the body. There's a body there, and I don't know if you can see my cursor. I don't think you can. I'm not sure. Well, there's a body. There's a body right there in between the bleachers, and then you get the stage, and you have a whole bunch of these rooms back here. Let's see. And there's the doors. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll back up. Just wanted to get you guys a look at the map. 1. Audience seating. The benches are simply made to hold 5 to 8 people. Close to the stage, between the 2 rows of benches, is a dead body. When Maligno failed to take possession of Giuseppe's body, he had one of the captive adults brought forward. He tried to enter this poor man's body instead. When that attempt failed, Maligno killed the man in rage and frustration. The man was killed exactly the same manner as was Franco Sortino. The throat was slit and the faces grotesquely carved to look like a mockery of a clown. 2. Stage. The stage is 3 feet above the floor level. Shallow steps on the right provide an easy ascent. The stage area has 3 sets of curtains. The forward curtain is red, the center one is gold, and the last curtain is purple. There are 6 trapdoors on the stage. They lead to a crawl space under the stage. The crawl space is just over 5 feet high and filled with wooden supports. Each trapdoor has a removable, stout log braced to it. Each trapdoor has a removable, stout log to brace it from underneath. A single door, hidden by the final curtain, leads to the rear building. 3. Giuseppe's Puppet Theater. This mini theater is a total of 8 feet tall. The central cavity for the puppets is 6 feet wide and 3 feet high. Its floor is 3 feet above the stage floor. The puppeteer stands on a bench behind the theater. He can reach over the back wall and dangle the marionettes down onto the stage without being seen by the audience. The cavity beneath the puppet theater is filled with stage props and marionettes. Real dolls, not carionettes. 4. Staging area. This empty area where the actors wait until they are cued for the stage. The door exits at stage height, which is 3 feet above the floor. A small wooden stair has been shoved up to the doorway. Another stair leads down the 3 feet to a landing. A 5-foot-high door leads from the landing to the crawl space under the stage. The door has no lock. In the back of this room is a narrow set of stairs leading to the second floor. The hallway in back is quite narrow, just over 4 feet wide. It ends in a locked door leading to the alley. 5. Prop room. This room is about 17 feet square. The walls are lined with shelves and cabinets. A wide variety of theater props fill these shelves and cabinets. Everything looks real at a distance or in poor lighting, but in reality is totally fake. There are weapons, armor, furniture, pots, stuffed animals, scrolls, backpacks, and more in here. 6. Changing rooms. There are 2 of these, one slightly smaller than the other. Men use one room women the other when changing costumes. Mirrors, wall pegs, chairs, and small tables crowd these. Mirrors, wall pegs, chairs, and small tables crowd these 10 by 7 foot rooms. Pots of flour and various berry juices used for makeup sit on small tables near the mirrors. 7. Upstairs room. This outer room holds basic supplies for the theater. It is also where Dorn, the caretaker, lives. Dom. 7. Upstairs room. This outer room holds basic supplies for the theater. It is also where Dom, the caretaker, lives. Dom is a young man, obviously unmarried, whose job it is to clean and maintain the theater. He acts also as the night guard. Although he has no combat skills whatsoever, he has the keys for all the doors. Made that sound like the two were connected. let me reread out. Isn't it interesting seeing behind the baseball? Of these live reads. Sometimes I say a line 4 or 5 times just to get it right. Dom is a young man, obviously unmarried, whose job it is to clean and maintain the theater. He also acts as a night guard, although he has no combat skills whatsoever. He has the keys for all the doors. By the time the PCs might ever meet him, Dom has been taken over by a Carrionet. And then theater again. 8. Costume room. This room is about 30 feet by 20 feet in size. These walls are filled with racks of clothes. Boxes under the racks hold shoes, fabrics, and fake jewelry. In the center of the room are a couple of tables and chairs and a good section of tools for tailoring costumes. All right, let's take a break here real quick. Ooh. Let's see, we're coming up on about 50 minutes. Let's see, anybody got any questions or comments, anything? While I take a little bit of the sip of water here. Let's see. What time we got here? 4:30. Been holding off on this one, but do you know how those field rules work? Yes. So I don't, Nick, I assume you're playing 5th edition, right? It's oh, excuse me for a second, guys. I have to take a phone call. Hello? Sorry about that. Yeah, so the easiest way to handle fear and horror checks in the game is if you have good role players, and you know they sort of react in a way that's appropriate for the scene. You really don't have to do anything, but then but there are specific rules for fear and horror checks that sort of impose negatives to rolls if they're not following those rules. I can send you the complete rules for fear and horror checks from the setting, and then you can take a look at them and implement them as you deem necessary. Let's see. Nick says play through once, DMing first couple sessions, never use any fear rules, but it sounds like a fun mechanic. It is a fun mechanic. There are specific fear rules in 5th edition. They're in the DMG, but they're sort of like more broad. But the fear and horror checks for Ravenloft 2nd edition, you can take them and modify them real easy for Curse of Strahd. So I will send them to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hold it there for today, and we're at the at a good stopping point where we're getting into the terror at the theater. Going about an hour, and I have to meet with the fam, and then do some other things on this beautiful Sunday. So I'm gonna leave it there. But I appreciate you being here. We'll pick this up again for the next live stream, and yeah. So thank you all. You mean a lot to me. Don't get lost in the mist. And I will catch you guys soon. Take care.